Hello there, welcome to our weekly news magazine program Bhutan This Week, and I am Damchazam. This week's top stories: residents of Tong village in Jemgang receive Chimsa land Kidu. Commemorative banknotes to celebrate the birth of His Royal Highness the Gese released. And political parties outside the parliaments sidelined on government publications. Now in detail. The residents of Tong village in Jemgang, which has been preserved as a heritage village due to its unusual traditional architecture, received Chimsa land as Kidu from His Majesty the King. The Kidu was delivered to the people by their Zonda.
The 27 households received 9 decimals of land each around the Jemgang tomb. The plots were identified and allocated in accordance to His Majesty's command. His Majesty visited Trong, which is located in the heart of Jemgang town, in September 2014 and met with the people living there. During the royal visit, His Majesty commanded that the villagers who have agreed to preserve their traditional homes in order for the village to retain its traditional beauty would be granted land around Jemgang so that they are able to enjoy the benefits of development. With some of the houses over 100 years old clustered close to each other with cobbled footpaths in between, the unique village retains a medieval charm and has been recognized as a special place to be preserved. Pemanamge, PBS News.
The Royal Monetary Authority released commemorative banknotes of 1,000 ngatam denomination to celebrate the birth of His Royal Highness the Gese Jigme Namgyal Wangchuk. Prime Minister launched the commemorative notes.
The banknote bears a commemorative message celebrating the birth of His Royal Highness the Gelse. His Royal Highness was born in Linkana Palace in Thimphu on 5th of February this year. The note also has the prefix W to mark the reign of the Wangchuk dynasty. The color and all other features of the note are the same as the 1,000 ngatam notes that is already in circulation. More than 3 million pieces of the commemorative banknotes were printed by the central bank in Germany. People can buy this note for an equivalent value from the central bank. The commemorative banknotes can be used along with other currency notes and will be put into circulation and available through the banks. Kipchu, BVS News.
The central bank also launched a scheme to provide foreign currency account facility for non-resident Bhutanese. This scheme is in recognition of the significant role that inward foreign currency remittances can play in boosting the country's foreign exchange reserves and in promoting savings. The facility is to enable Bhutanese living abroad to send their earnings and savings to their personal foreign currency accounts in Bhutan. Her Majesty the Queen Mother Sangye Chodin Wangchuk graced the opening of the exhibition on Shabdung Ngaung Namgyal, the founding father, on Wednesday at the Royal Textile Academy. The exhibition, organized to celebrate the 400 years since Shabdung's arrival to Bhutan, is now open to public for the next 6 months.
Her Majesty the Queen Mother launched the 2 exhibition catalogues and also awarded a token of appreciation to the owners who loaned the sacred artifacts for the exhibition. These artifacts belong to Shabdung and his successive reincarnations Chogyal Jumi Tenzin and Chogyal Yushinyodo. The artifacts were collected from Gasa, Wandipoda and Semtokadzong. Some of them are private collections. An exhibition titled Shabdung Ngaung Namgyal, a biography through Kutangs, was also inaugurated. The 19 kutangs depicting the life and legacy of Shabdung will be on public display for 2 weeks. Shabdung came to Bhutan in 1616. He travelled through Gasa and reached Thimphu from Lingji. He established Bhutan as an independent sovereign nation by unifying the country under one leadership and introduced a new system of governance. The exhibition was initiated under the personal guidance of Her Majesty, Textile Museum and Royal Textile Academy with support from the Central Monastic Body and Home Ministry. Kilyangton for BBS News.
Bhutan's 12th five-year plan will be based on the 9 domains of the concept of gross national happiness. The 9-domain approach will specifically focus on community vitality, psychological well-being, and good governance. The 4-pillar approach was not inclusive of the intangible aspects.
The Gross National Happiness Commission conducted a survey in 2015. They found that community vitality, psychological well-being, and good governance are the domains that have not performed well comparatively.
What we do is take the result of the survey and then incorporate them into the plans and programs. Obviously, what we do should be to maximize GNH, and how do we measure that is to their progress against the 9 domains. So these 3 domains have been found to be lagging behind. Therefore, in the 12th five-year plan, it is only logical to emphasize on these 3 domains which are lagging behind.
Gross National Happiness Commission expects the 9-domain approach to examine the implications and impacts of all sectors on every domain.
For example, until now, what the Ministry of Works and Human Settlement or TOMDE does, the plans and programs that they do, they have little or no considerations of their implications on the health domain or psychological well-being. So now with this approach, what we will require and inculcate is the process of thinking deeper and saying that when you do a plan and a program, what impact does it have on the other domains?
National consultation workshop on the preparation of the 12th five-year plan was held today in Thimphu. Sangeesha Zom for BBS News.
The government offices will implement paperless operation by the end of this month. The initiative is expected to significantly reduce the paper usage. A guideline to institutionalize paperless operation in government offices was launched recently.
A study was conducted in 18 offices by the Department of National Properties in 2013. It was found that they consumed 177 tons of paper in a year, which translates to about 22 truckloads. A similar study was also done recently.
NECS, with the help of other agencies which form the task team, we have done the life cycle assessment for the paperless guideline, and there we found out that we had an average saving of 11,600 per person on an average. So I think it's a huge amount for the government to save, and it will also help in reducing the environmental impacts.
The guideline will come into effect from 31st September. It is to provide general and specific information and recommendation for deploying paperless initiative.
Going paperless is not a thing which we can do it at one go, but it can be done gradually. But there are some processes which can be implemented immediately. For example, we can print only one original copy, and keep it as a master copy, and rest we can scan and send it to the relevant peoples. And second thing, like we can use double-sided printers, we can have centralized printers, and when you can use emails for any kind of correspondence, and any kind of meetings we can do it through Google Docs, pre-meetings, post-meetings, sending of agendas, minutes of the meetings, we can use emails for that.
A familiarization workshop will be held soon for a smooth implementation of the initiative. Srindema Gelsin, BBS News.
The Amochu flood in Phuentsholing in July this year damaged millions worth of electromechanical equipment for Mangdechu Hydroelectric Project and Punasanchu 1 and 2 hydropower projects. The equipment were stockpiled along the banks of Amochu, commonly known as Tursa River, to be transported to the project site.
Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, the company supplying electromechanical equipment to the 3 hydropower projects, stored around 500 million worth of equipment along the Tursa river banks. Officials from BHEL said the flood completely washed away around 30 million worth of equipment. The rest were either submerged or damaged. The exact amount of damage or loss is still being assessed. The company has insured the equipment with RICBL and an Indian insurance company, United India Insurance Company Limited. The equipment was stored at Tursa due to lack of proper transportation facilities. A recent meeting of stakeholders in Phuentsholing now decided to transport the equipment directly to the project sites with the help from Bhutanese transporters. This is to facilitate timely completion of the hydropower projects. Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited officials said the recent disaster will not hinder the progress of the hydropower projects. Fukingatashi and Funseling, Kiliangdan for BBS News.
Some of the political parties outside the parliaments are not happy as they do not receive any government publications. The political parties said they are being sidelined by the government.
Bhutan Kyunyam Party and Drup Nyamrup Sokpa during the Bhutan Democratic Dialogue said the parties outside the parliament are not in the circulation list of official documents. The parties said they have requested the government through Bhutan Democracy Dialogue to include them in the circulation list.
Political parties should receive documents, or rather political parties' names should be listed in the list of documents that are being circulated by the government of the day. We are still not in receipt of any official documents. For example, the economic development policy, we didn't get that. RMA reports, we didn't get that. So on and so forth. Now, we always have to use our personal connections to get these reports. And the transaction cost is very high.
We don't receive any information. And then the media will say, please can you give us your opinion on economic development policy? Can you give your opinion on whatever parliamentary discussions are taking place? Recently, Drupnyam Sopa wanted to find out what's happening with the central schools. And the government of the day stopped us. They wrote to the education officers saying that do not entertain them. How do you expect parties to give opinion on issues when we can't even find out about them?
However, the Prime Minister says the Constitution and any other laws do not mandate registered political parties to provide check and balance to the government.
If political parties who are registered with the Election Commission of Bhutan but are not represented in the parliament, if they want government publications, they should write to us. But they are not entitled to them. It's important that the opposition party have access to all these documents. But for other political parties, like I said, by law, I don't see what they're required to do. And if they are required to fulfill any obligation by law, remember they are not the opposition party. And if they are required, then they should let me know.
He added that the government will engage the political parties if they write to the government. Sangishazom for BBS News.
Druk Air's total revenue last year decreased by some 70 million ngertum compared to 2014. The total revenue in 2014 was nearly 3 billion ngertum, while in 2015 it was over 2.8 billion. It was due to decline in the number of dollar-paying passengers. This is as per the Druk Holding and Investments Annual Report 2015.
Though the number of flights operated last year increased, but there were less passengers compared to 2014. The company cancelled 83 scheduled flights on account of Nepal earthquake in April last year. Bangkok sector also saw a drop in the number of passengers as 25 direct flights were cancelled due to poor load. The report says while there was an increase in the local fare-paying passengers, it did not compensate the drop in the dollar-paying passengers. It caused a slump in the overall revenue last year. But the report says Druk Air made a significant improvement by reducing its loss by nearly 100 million newton last year. The company cut down its expenditure on flight operating cost. Pasa, BBS News.
With the huge job market for skilled workers in the country, more youth are coming forward for technical courses. From 60 in 2003, there are 134 trainees undergoing various technical courses at Technical Training Institute in Samthang, Wangdephodong.
The TTI Samthang provides courses on automobile mechanic, earth-moving machine, and heavy vehicle driving training, among others. The institute provides on-field practical courses and theoretical knowledge. The minimum qualification to attain the training is Class 10. However, even Class 12 past students are coming forward for the training.
Every year, over 130 trainees graduate from the institute.
Every day, the number of vehicles is increasing. We can also get jobs, which is available in the automobile services.
There is no difference between boy and girl. Even we as women, we can opt for such technical courses. I did not find it difficult. We learn through each other while training.
According to the faculties, since the trainees are equipped with all the required skills, they get absorbed easily in the market.
Here we give them a theoretical knowledge, basic automobile course also, and they are being taught in the basic maintenance course also, and of course basic theory on the automobile. But whereas those drivers, of course, being a handy boy, and of course they might have the good practical, but they are lack in the theoretical background.
The institute is restricted by its hostel capacity to enroll more trainees. The institute has added additional infrastructure to accommodate more trainees, but it is not able to cater to all the interested trainees.
Now with the plain graduate, I think there's no job market at all. Whereas if they have a skill in hand, they have a lot of opportunities, because in the country, as of now, if you go to a private workshop, there are 7 or 8 experts working over there. So our mandate given by the government is to replace those workers. And now even you can see even the female trainees are coming forward and getting trained with us.
The institute also provides entrepreneurship courses and other necessary supports for the trainees. The TTI Samthang was established in 2003 as National Driving Training Institute. Compiled for Komal Kharka in Oandefoda, Sangi Shizom for BBS News.
Bhutan will begin hazelnuts export from next year. The mountain hazelnuts has projected over 500,000 kilograms of hazelnuts to be exported in China and Europe.
The mountain hazelnuts will be receiving most of the hazelnuts to be exported from farmers of eastern Dzongkhag. The farmers of the east were the first ones to take up hazelnuts plantation since 2011. With many plants past fruit-bearing stage, farmers of Trashigang are expected to produce the largest quantity next year. The plant usually begins fruiting after 3 or 5 years.
I think more trees will bear fruit. If there are many next year, I will be able to make some income.
Even though the company will be exporting large quantities of hazelnuts next year, the company says it will be able to make profits only after 5 years. This year, the company has started buying hazelnuts from the farmers for research and lab testing purpose.
We'll be processing a lot larger quantity next year, probably over 500 tons will be coming to our factory in Lingmitang. So this year it's really samples going out to markets in China and Europe. In full production, Bhutan will be producing about 40,000 tons of nuts, which is about 4% of world market. And the market itself is very stable, and there is a good price for the farmers.
The price of the hazelnuts for the farmers had been fixed at about 20 Newton for a kilogram. The company plans to increase the price of the hazelnuts in coming months. Gearing up for next year's export, the Mountain Hazelnuts is constructing a hazelnuts processing factory in Lingmitha in Mongar. The factory, set to be complete by the end of this year, is expected to generate over 200 job opportunities. Compiled for Chitin Dubchu in Kangnung, Tsungda Magalsen, BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.